Okay. Hi, Miss Tate. Thank you so much for interviewing with me today. I'll just be asking you a few questions about your journey and kind of how you started helping women, period, and what inspired you to. So, the first question I do have for you is what inspired you to start helping women, period?
It's kind of it's funny because we started it accidentally.
Okay.
Um, my friend and I were on Facebook in the middle of the night in January 2015 and both read the same article and reposted the same article about the lack of menstrual products for homeless women. And we were shocked, both of us, because we expected that there was a government program that would cover that,
Mm-hmm.
pads and tampons. We thought SNAP or WIC, which is Women, Infants, and Children, you'd think something called Women, Infants, and Children would cover pads and tampons, diapers, and formula, and they only do formula. They don't do diapers either. So we decided we needed to do something about it. So we thought about it and thought we'll have a breakfast. We'll invite 30 of our closest friends. We'll ask them for money. Maybe we'll make $500. We'll buy a couple of cases off of Amazon, and then we'll give it to the local shelter and we'll be done. We thought it was just going to be a one and done kind of thing. So we put it on Facebook, the event on Facebook on a Sunday in March of 2015. On Tuesday of that week, we had to change the venue of the event because we had 100 people coming and the restaurant could only hold 30. And then on the Thursday of that week, we filed nonprofit paperwork because it went viral and we had people from all over the world asking us, they wanted to send us money and we wanted to be as
Right.
transparent as possible. So that's how we kind of started. We've been going since then. The other thing we did is we didn't want to be another set of hands reaching out to these people who are probably already overwhelmed
Right.
with not being able to afford the things that they need. And they already feel shame for that. They don't need more people going, let me help you, let me help you. So we decided we would work with other nonprofits who already had that kind of relationship with our end user. And so we started partnering with them. And now we have 180, maybe 200 charity partners, we call them, in 30 counties in Michigan. And we've distributed 4 million products since 2015.
Yeah.
And almost 1 million of those have been this year alone. So the pandemic really spotlighted the need for more product.
Right. Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. 4 million. That's especially in such a short amount of time. That's an amazing thing. And I really like how you said that you don't necessarily want to like reach for them more. I don't know kind of how to put that in words, but I think it's good that you're partnering already because there is definitely a lot of shame and stigma around not being able to afford menstrual products. So I'm glad that I could learn a little bit more about how helping women, period, is. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, when you have people who are suffering from period poverty, they have a dual stigma, right? You have
Right.
stigma of poverty because nobody wants to talk about being poor because they think it's kind of catching or something. And then there's a stigma of periods. So, and we've been taught in this country to not say anything about your period or don't,
Right.
talk behind your mouth, bite you behind your hand, or you whisper it or you go in the other room. And so these poor people already feel so much shame. And so we need to get rid of both stigmas,
Right.
which is why I talk to anyone who wants to talk to me.
Yes, I think it's very informative and definitely like I felt that, I feel like when I was younger, I always used to like hide my tampons or pads like in my sleeve when I went to the bathroom. And now like I'm trying to get away from that uncomfortableness and just like I'm proudly just talking about my period and menstruation because it's just a natural bodily function. So why should it be shamed? So
Yeah. None of us would be here if there weren't.
exactly.
If it wasn't a thing. So, and
Yeah.
everybody loves someone who's had a period, right? You love
Right.
your mother, your aunts, your sisters. And so it's like, it's such a big part of their life, right? It's like 1 week out of every month of their entire life.
Right.
So why not learn about it and not tease or be squicked out by it?
Exactly. Yeah. And that kind of leads into my next question. So, like you said, there's a lot of stigma around poverty and menstrual poverty together. So, how have you combated those negative comments towards period poverty and towards helping women, period, as a whole?
Well, giving out pads and tampons has kind of, because I'm dealing with it every day, it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of become not much of a thing. But I also realized that giving the pads and tampons is just taking care of one part. It's the symptom, really. It's not the root. And the
Mm-hmm.
root is we need more education and we need more advocacy. And so talking about periods and not being ashamed and talking about like talking to legislators about how we need free period products in schools and in public buildings. And, we needed the tampon tax taken off.
Wow.
That's been really helpful. I remember when we first started and I could barely say feminine protection products. Like that was what we said when we were first interviewed. And now I'm like, no, it's not, you don't need anything to be protected from. It's sanitary products makes it sound like it's dirty, and we're trying to change our language around this product so that we can get rid of the stigma.
Exactly. This is something, like you said, it's a universal thing that everyone experiences. Also leading to my next question, that a lot of people think that period poverty only exists in, quote unquote, third world countries, when it's very prevalent in, countries that are seen as prosperous. So with that stigma as well, it's a completely opposite thing of, an example of the United States. There's many people suffering from period poverty here. So what would you, or in what ways do you respond to people saying that, because the United States is so prosperous, that this is really an unimportant issue to advocate for?
It's really interesting because I have data that says that 1 in 4 people who menstruate don't go to school because they don't have the product that they need.
Yeah.
And in the US, that's not in third world, that's not the whole world, that's just here in the US. And I was working with a student who did a survey in her very prosperous, very affluent community, and it was still 1 in 4. So, I mean, it's a quiet thing because nobody wants to talk about it, first of all.
Right.
And the thing is, it becomes a drain on the whole community if people don't have the product that they need. If they use things like socks and t-shirts and, paper towel or toilet paper, those products are not made for menstrual management. And so they could get infections. And if they don't have enough money for buying product, they probably don't have enough money for insurance. So then they go to the doctor, and that
Right.
it's just a drain on our whole community. And if they can't go to school, they're not learning what they need to learn, or if they can't go to work, it just becomes this like domino effect, right? And these people can't help and be part of the community if they don't have the things that they need. So if we can just give them these things, and it's not expensive if everyone did it, right? Like if you went to every restaurant you went to had a couple pads and tampons in the bathroom, that would be fine. And it would help, it'd help more people than they would ever know.